Hey Reggie, Hitler sucks.
Hey, fuck you, man. Fuck you. I don't need this. Alright, well, hello and welcome to Because We Care with hosts
Keith Kilgore.
Keith and me, Reggie Watts. And yesterday was, of course, the anniversary, I don't know if you know this, of the attempted assassination of Adolf Hitler in 1944.
Oh, damn.
Oh, damn. Yes. Well, basically what happened was Klaus von Stauffenberg, a wounded war hero from the Eastern Front of Germany, placed a bomb with a satchel charge under a desk in Hitler's Eastern Prussian bunker, and he only put the one charge in the satchel, and it blew up and killed people in Hitler's war room, but it didn't kill him, and he survived. They tried to make the state go without him. They had like all these top plans that it was planned by Nazi officials and all this stuff, but it didn't work out because obviously he didn't die. And the question we're here to ask today is, well, what would have happened if he had have died July 20th, 1944?
Alright, my two options, which are basically the only two options that they would have, which is probably one the most likely, surrender, which is probably what they would have done at that point, because letting him get all the way to Berlin was a huge fucking mistake. Because then, like, think all the years of rebuilding and the money it cost everybody, not just them, but everybody to rebuild. And then maybe, there wouldn't have been like an Iron Curtain thing in the Cold War because, because the Soviets didn't make it that far, so they couldn't claim that much land. That's getting a little off topic. Or two, maybe with, because Hitler, was into some hardcore drugs because of his pains, and he was in charge of the entire military thing, maybe with somebody who, wasn't high 24/7 making decisions, they might have been able to pull something out of their ass and fight back. I'm not saying they would have won, but they might have lasted a little longer.
Well, I'm thinking this much: if they would have surrendered, I don't think they would have. They would have fought surrendered the way that Hitler had set up the nation to be so honorable and so just about their whole empire and shit. I think the Nazis were more sympathetic to the Western Allies. For instance, Erwin Rommel, what he wanted to do, which he was kind of implicated in the Valkyrie killings, which is why he had to kill himself.
Yeah.
But his idea was that if they surrendered to the Western Allies, they would team up with the U.S. and Great Britain and march east to Russia. Which is an interesting thought. I mean, politically that seems completely far-fetched, but militaristically, that seems like a possibility.
Even politically, I don't even think that seems that too far-fetched, because,
That's what I was thinking, too,
because think about it, the Red Scare and all kinds of shit like that, like, the anti-communist views, like, the only reason there's a quote from, I don't even know who the hell it's from, about World War II, saying about why, if the Allies sided with Russia and all that, which is, if Hitler's going to invade hell, we're going to make a deal with the devil to get him out. So, that was kind of it. So, it doesn't seem too far-fetched. Because, look at right after the war. Right after the war was over, Cold War. Everybody hates each other.
I feel like if it wasn't for the Holocaust, it would have been even more possible. You know what I mean? I feel like that would have made it easier for them to garnish public support from the Allies.
Yeah, I forgot about that little hiccup in German history. But...
Hiccup?
I forgot.
Yeah.
Put it lightly, but, yeah, I guess so. I don't know if there could have been much use. I think at that point, because, up until then, Russia was, Soviet Union was a backwater nation. It was still kind of living in, the 1800s.
They tried to modernize.
They tried, but... They were still kind of far back, but then the march and all that gave them a lot of materials, taking German materials when during the march toward Berlin. So
and they deindustrialized.
Yeah, so then they were like, okay, all right, let's do this because obviously this is working, and then they became the second biggest power. So if maybe if they would have surrendered, and they could have like stopped early.
I don't think
but other
Russia
than
would have
that,
taken a surrender. After
no,
what
I meant
had done.
Germany. I think if Germany would have surrendered, but then
I think Russia would have kept marching though. Honestly, after that point, after all the atrocities the Germans did,
yeah, and then they wouldn't be as powerful, and then it'd be like, and then who knows? There wouldn't have been a Cold War maybe, but this is all hypothetical. So I mean,
well, it was a big possibility. The July 20th thing could have been much more important. He could have easily died that day, because if you watch the movie, it gives light to some of it, Valkyrie, but it shows part of this, but von Stauffenberg he had 2 satchel charges of explosives, and he wanted to put them in a bag, and he said he needed to go change because he was wounded, right? And it takes him longer to change shit, right?
yeah,
And they said the Fuhrer needs to meet you now, right, in the movie. And he had only had chance to prime 1 satchel charge for this thing. And it was proven that if he had at least even put the second satchel charge in with it, uncharged, it would have set it off with the other satchel charge.
and then it would have been,
And then the whole room would have blown up and everybody would have died. They did experiments on this. And that's really an interesting concept because, as I was mentioning earlier, and we've kind of alluded to, I guess, is that was 2 weeks after the Normandy landing. And that was also when the Russians were, starting to push back and getting close to Poland. So, I mean...
they're like right at the German border, basically. So, I mean...
the nail was kind of going in the coffin for Germany at that point.
So, if Hitler would have died, like I said, it might have made, what if it had an opposite effect? Maybe it, either...
fueled the German people to want to fight for.
Fueled the German people to want to fight, or, it was,
That's what
a
happened.
huge tragedy, and then,
That's what happened with all the bombing campaigns the Allies did. That motivated the Germans even more. After we bombed the hell out of them, they wanted to keep fighting. But I feel like by that point in the war, though, in 1944, I feel like German morale had completely deteriorated.
Like when you hear stories about Allies going through European cities, they talk about how less than 40% of the soldiers that they capture actually supported the war. Like, most of them were just kind of like, we signed up, we don't really support it anymore, but we're forced to keep going, So, I mean, if that's not evidence enough that, morale was down, I mean...
Some of them just fought because they had those militaristic tendencies of their ancestors, just like Erwin Rommel, just like countless of other innocent civilians that Hitler took under his power. If you've read the book, For Whom the Bell Tolls, by Ernest Hemingway.
Oh, yeah.
It's an interesting book, and the one part of it, he kills a fascist soldier. He has no idea what fascism is, what any of it means. It's just fighting the war, just thinking about his family.
It's just because you are. I don't know what you are, but because you are what you are, you have to die.
Exactly. But I feel like the whole mentality of the era was a cause of a lot of the problems of the era, and I feel like it would have made the situation after Hitler's death far more confusing and ridiculous than what had happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, folks,
I think we're good.
I think we're good. I hope you enjoyed that and get informed on your history and
History. Yeah.
history, yes. And
we're closing the book on this one.
we'll be back soon. Black people.